Hello, I'm Brian Martin, and I want to thank you for being with me today. This week, I'm going to be reading from my book, which is called Eternity is the E in Love, Experiencing Meaning and Change the World by the Power of Love. Hey, I've got some really great news about that. I have finished my first draft of the O book. This is the E book. E is the Love. The L book was or is My Kindness is the Most Important Little Thing. That's the L in love, little thing. Kindness is the most important little thing in the world. The O book, which is the one that I've just finished the draft of because I did the ebook first. The O book is called Oxytocin is the O in love, a surprising title. Oxytocin is the O in love. How to grow and maintain emotional connection in your relationships. What a wonderful experience it has been to write that book. Jennifer was editing the introduction today, and I got good marks. So look forward to reading that to you when we're done with this book. Today we're moving into part two. In part one, we learned all about having meaning and significance. Then I wrote a segue between part one and part two, which was the vision of the black cube and the distant fire. I really enjoyed that. And then here is the second part of the book. Rituals are habits which add meaning and significance to life. So let us begin. Assign meaning to habits and ritualize them. The earth turns and the sun dawns. It sets and it dawns anew. 24 hours, 1 day, 7 days a week, 4.3 months, 4.3 weeks, 1 month. 12 months and the earth circumnavigates around the sun 1 year. The moon is new. It waxes, it becomes full. It wanes, it becomes new again. All this happens and we are mostly unaware. All that changes when we add meaning to it. February 29th is Jennifer's birthday. On that day every year, we stop, remember, and celebrate. June, Jennifer's mother, remembers looking out the hospital window when she was born. It was snowing. She thought a good name for the baby girl would be Snow White. Aren't we glad that she ended up with the name Jennifer? This day, February 19th, is not ordinary. Our behavior on this day changes. We intentionally bake a cake. We gather and sing happy birthday. We give gifts and we celebrate. It's now a special day. We give it meaning. We give it meaning and significance. We ritualized the day. What was once an ordinary day is transformed when we intentionally and deliberately ritualized it. Rituals provide meaning and significance to things that are otherwise ordinary, common, and unnoticed or unconscious. A great book on habits is Atomic Habits by James Clear. One idea from his book that resonates for me is that one's personal identity is tied to good habits. For instance, if I view myself as a philanthropist, I may have a conflict about spending money on a new luxury car or making a significant contribution to the local food bank. I might say to myself, I am a philanthropist and I contribute to the needs of the local community. Identity is tied to the habit or the behavior. Likewise, if I see myself as I am a healthy person, then getting up to go to the gym in the morning is more in line with my identity than sleeping in for another hour. My identity directs my habits and behavior. When I say to myself, I am a loving, kind person, my identity as a loving, kind person affects how I habitually relate to other people, and I am intentionally kind rather than rude or dismissive. Clear reminds me that we have one primary identity. I am a loving person. We are crafted like a fine diamond with many facets. The diamond I am a loving person is made more beautiful by the facets which reflect the other aspects of who we are. One aspect, I am a philanthropist, reflects how I manage my money. I am a community leader, reflects how I relate to my community. I am healthy, reflects how I care for my body and mind. I am a husband or wife, reflects with my actions and my intimate relationships. I am father / mother, reflects my role as in my family, as does I am a brother or sister, or I am a grandfather or a grandmother. There are many other facets of our identity which further define our roles and our actions. Our identity is often tied to our job, our occupation, our profession or calling, as in, I am a mechanic and I am a librarian. These all reflect the one basic identity. Without their beauty, and our central identity may only be a diamond in a rough. Each aspect or facet of our identity is related to habits or regular behaviors. What makes our lives richer and more meaningful is when we assign meaning to our habits and ritualize them. Let's learn some more about ritualizing our habits. In this section, the ritual section, I'm going to share rituals from the home model and other important rituals. The home model has 8 main elements. The money element, which is controlling your money and moving from survivor way of living to a philanthropic way of living. Secondly, there's the community element, which is moving towards being a community leader. And then there is the health domain, which is moving from disease to well-being. And then fourthly, there is the culture domain, which is moving from blind, unconscious acceptance of the prevailing culture and the identity that we draw from the culture, to become differentiated by your gifts and your skills and your talents and your tools. The remaining 4 elements are in the word love. L stands for little things, which is the content of the first book in this series. Kindness is the most powerful little thing in the world. The O stands for oxytocin. I just told you about finishing up my oxytocin book. This element speaks of growing and sustaining emotional connections. I love that book. This element speaks to growing and sustaining emotional connections. Deja vu. The V in love stands for victory and speaks to problem solving in relationships. That's going to be my 4th book that I'm writing. First, I wrote the L book, then I wrote the E book, then I wrote the O book, and then I'm going to come back to the V book. And I have a fantastic story to share with you in that book about having victory over problems. All right, let's get back to this. And the ebook, which is this book, These rituals, or the rituals of these areas, dramatically enrich your life experience and provide you with profound meaning and significance in life. Each will affirm your diamond identity. Your diamond identity is the same as every other person's, by the way. Your diamond identity, the thing that in your essence you are, is this: I am a loving person. All the other aspects of your life are carved on your identity of I am a loving person. Now, a lot of people don't know that that's their identity, and so they suffer the consequences of not knowing, and they launch out and find their identity in somewhere else. But have you ever been around a person who portrays a particular facade about their identity, but you know that's not connected to who they really are? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that happens. Each will affirm your diamond identity. I am a loving person, and your facet identities. I'm a philanthropist. I am a problem solver. I'm healthy, and so on. Rituals are one of the most important ways for you to experience meaning and significance in life. So we're going to begin now with the first one. Let's see, how are we doing time-wise? Oh my goodness. Well, we'll see what happens. You got to have flexibility. Let's see if you can get there. Rituals for money. All right. No, that corresponds to the to the diagram that I showed you about the four pressures. And money is one of the main stressors that people experience. And it's not just money, it's the resources that you need to survive. And in our culture today, money is really important, right? It used to be a bartering system, now it's money. Rituals of money. Two mindsets for managing money are the surviving mindset and the philanthropist mindset. So there's two: surviving mindset and the philanthropist mindset. Most people have the surviving mindset, and that's because they haven't learned or don't know that you can be a philanthropist and not have millions and billions of dollars. In fact, I'm going to read it to you in a moment that anybody can be a philanthropist. Even if you don't have any money, you can be a philanthropist. The surviving mindset is deeply rooted in our primitive need to survive. When I say primitive, I mean the mindset goes way back to our ancient ancestors. In their world, survival was truly a daily effort. I kind of like a lot now living in the coronavirus era, right? In the middle of this crisis. What's changed is that we have much greater control. Much of the world's population isn't so much in competition with saber-toothed tigers for food, or being food. Our magnificent neocortex has allowed us to create a world that is relatively safe. Nevertheless, the need for survival is still a factor, and most people have not been able to think like philanthropists. Man, if we took control of that survivor instinct and we're philanthropists, each and every one of us, what a different world we'd live in. People can think like a philanthropist, but it requires effort. You might say that surviving is a system one process that's automatic and it comes naturally. And philanthropy is a system two activity. You gotta think about it some. Surviving is the first thing that comes to mind. It's automatic. System two requires more work, effort, and time to think. The financial identity of a survivor is, I am surviving. When survivors get a paycheck, their internal dialogue is, how can I get by? And they have a now orientation to money. What can I spend now until my next paycheck? The financial identity of a philanthropist is, I am a philanthropist. And they have a future orientation to money. What's my plan for distributing my money so others will be helped? So they obviously have a lot of control over their money. Some philanthropists have foundations to aid in this in this planning process. When people think about philanthropists, they think of Bill and Melinda Gates, who are the top philanthropists in the world today. That's a mistaken thinking. By the way, that doesn't mean that they'll forever be the top philanthropists in the world. There'll probably be others who come along who have more and do more than the Gates do. And I'm looking forward to seeing that happen in the world. Wouldn't that be great? Some of the greatest philanthropists are ordinary people like the readers of this book. They don't have the resources of the Gates Foundations, but they are givers from the heart. This is because philanthropy, I wish you could underline this in your book. This is because philanthropy is a basic human response. Just like right now in the corona 19, the coronavirus crisis that we're experiencing right now. Aren't you aware of, don't you see all the people coming out of the woodwork to help? It blows my mind. How many of you have called or have been called by somebody who's just checking on you? Right? And many of you are beneficiaries of others. So it's a basic human response. Philanthropy is deeply rooted in our need to care for our loved ones and our communities. Even while we're surviving, our heart looks forward to the time when we can contribute to others in greater need. It's our heart. It's in our hearts, and it's part of being human. When people give, their internal dialogue is, I am a giver, which is exactly the same as, I am a philanthropist. If you are, I am a giver, please do yourself a favor, I write, and use I am a philanthropist. It's a more modern term for the same thing. And when you change your identity from I am a survivor to I am a philanthropist, you change your approach, your habits, and your rituals around money. The best model of an ordinary philanthropist I know is Jennifer, my wife. Let me share with you the story of Jennifer's model of philanthropy. My son Jared tells people, we were dirt poor growing up. Jared's memory is an exaggeration in what he experienced, but close to the truth. We had humble beginnings. We were survivors. But we had the support of hardworking parents and grandparents who were philanthropists at heart. They helped us. Many people don't have the support that we had. All right, I'm going to stop there because it's a stopping place, and I've been going for 18 minutes, and I don't want to go much longer than that. And I'll continue my reading next time. You can always read ahead and get the book. It's you can get this book in both the paperback and the Kindle version. And I really would encourage you to read it because there are some really wonderful nuggets in this book that will pique your interest, and it's really good. And I'm not just trying to sell a book. I'm trying to sell love. I'm giving it away for free too. All right, so there you have it. My name is Brian Martin. Thank you so much for visiting with me today. I hope this was as much of a blessing for you as it was for me. And I look forward to seeing you, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise next Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. Bye-bye. Let's see, how do you turn it off over here? We'll go over here, and I'll look right at you. See you later, alligator. Bye-bye.